What is up, tasty people? It's your boy Tasty Penguin here. We are back today in Outward, and today I'm going to be showing you the Elementalist. Dudes, I have been racking my brain over and over again for about a week trying to find something that is viable with Chakram. Chakram is so much fun in this game, but at the same time, the damage is underwhelming in my opinion unless you get that perfect hit with Chakram Dance. Those sweeps back and forth that just continuously hit. That's when it shows, but unless you're hitting that perfect hit, it's just, I don't know, it's just very underwhelming, but I finally think I got a combination here that is actually pretty fun. I know there's a lot of people doing the triple wards and stuff like that, all the circles on the ground and stuff like that. But this is my variation, the way that I like to use it, and I think it is actually finally ready for me to play around with and stuff like that, and I'm going to be sharing that with you here today. Now, first thing that we're going to be going over here is, I guess, my equipment. Now, I chose my equipment just for personal playstyle and the style of the way the character looks. And you guys can interchange your equipment any way that you want to. It's not needed, but this is the way that I went. Obviously, Lightbender's backpack because of the mana cost. That's what I wanted. I wanted to go with a bunch of mana costs, and currently I have about 70% negative on the mana cost, which is awesome. We went with the Gold Lich boost because it gave me a resistance to electricity and 20% mana cost. I was going to go with the Jade Lich, but I like the Gold Lich. It's a little bit better in my opinion for what I'm doing. And then I went with the Tenebrial, I don't know the name, Tenebris armor, that's what it's called. It gave me a lot of elemental resistances, plus it gave me a damage bonus to, I think it's E3 on poison, and a mana cost reduction. I like it, I love the way it looks. It fits with the Wild Black Hat a little bit better because it gives me a 10 damage bonus to fire and mana cost reduction plus movement speed, which is needed whenever you're trying to be a stationary building, you need to move around. So that's why I made them a little bit more versatile. And I went with the Frozen Chakram for my Chakram weapon because it adds the ice damage to your weapons, has a high impact, and plus the 22 physical plus the ice goes up to 44 damage, which is pretty dang good. One of the, I guess it's the most powerful one depending on how you're doing your build, and I love it. If you don't know where to get this, it's a little bit rare, but the place I found it was in one of the roaming traders in the game. But that's the only place that I found. It's actually kind of expensive. I can't remember the price, but if you see the traders, check them out. If you're looking for one, it'll be there eventually. Now, I went with the Living Wood Axe. The reason why I went the Living Wood Axe, I was looking around at the Jade stuff for the mana cost reduction, and yes, I think they do the same mana cost reduction, if not more, but I wanted to go with the Schmitter. I know, or that would be the sword. I know that the mace would do a little bit more damage, but had a little bit less on magic damage, and I'm trying to do a little bit more magic here. Plus, this thing still gives us mana cost reduction, and it's 1 point more on the physical and the magical damage on this than the Jade sword. So that's why I went with this one. Now you guys can interchange this stuff any way you want to. I've got the Lightbender's Lexicon in the background just in case I want to pop those runes. Now, as far as the classes that I went up with, I've got all these spells here. I got everything up to the breakpoint for every single class in the game. Now my main classes are going to be the Chakram. It's going to be the Shaman and the Spell Sword. And I know the Spell Sword's a little bit different, but the reason why I went with the Spell Sword is because if you're inside that circle and you're popping all your skills and you still haven't killed it, you need to leave that circle and you need to do some damage because you're kind of a little bit weak. So I added that so that we could use our, our casting spell here. What is it called? What is it called? I am forgetting the names. Elemental Discharge. So if we have an element on our weapon, we can discharge that element freely, running around in circles. Plus, that's why I have the Chakram, so we can do our 2 Chakram skills while we're waiting on cooldowns on these, pop back in our circle and do some more damage. It is pretty awesome. Now, I've also got all of the boons just to add extra elemental, plus the call to elements, plus the Shaman passive that ups your boons, damage, and resistances, which is amazing. Okay, sorry about that quick cut, but my cat was attacking my feet, knocked stuff off my desk, and it's just going crazy, so I had to take a little bit of a second there. But we're going to get into this. What you need in the background to be able to use these skills and stuff, you need to be able to have these coal and firestones. They're pretty easy to craft. You can look up the recipe online, but you need to stack up on some of those because you need them to be able to put your fire and ice sigil down. Now, also, I run the ice varnishes and all the varnishes and stuff like that because I don't want to infuse fire or infuse ice because of two reasons. One, I only get to pick one element, and two, these are, I mean, I get more variety here. I get a lot more variety being able to use these. And yes, I could use a mace with infuse mace, but that makes me have to have another ability down here on my tree. And I do not want to have that. I want to be able to run as I go. And these are actually pretty easy to make. You can grab them in stores, all kinds of stuff. So they're pretty easy to run around with. Now, I'm going to be going through each one of these sigils really quickly just to show you guys the different things that you can do with the sigils. Now, we're first going to start off with the wind sigil. Now, if we have the wind sigil down, the only things that work with it that I found is, I think, mana push throws an electric bolt. I know spark does nothing, or actually, no, spark does do the explosion, and it is mana ward that does nothing. So that's one set of skills that you can do with that. Now, if we go over here and pop down the ice sigil, this is the one that took me the longest to figure out. But if you do your mana push, it was hard for me to see, but it actually does throw an ice bolt. It's so tiny and it does knockback damage, but it's actually pretty cool that it does that. Now, this sigil actually looks really cool because of the ice spikes and stuff. But as far as spark goes, does nothing. If we do a mana ward though, ice explosion does great damage and it slows everything around you. And that's actually really, really cool. Now, this is my favorite one, as you've seen from my Pyromancer video. The fire ward is actually really cool. In the fire ward, if you use mana push, does nothing. But if you use your spark, it shoots a lobbed fireball out that actually has an arc to it. And if you use your mana ward, I believe it's called, it catches you on fire. And what that does is you take damage over time, but you get 30% more fire damage, which is awesome. And that is actually pretty cool. And another little hidden thing that somebody commented, I can't remember who it was, but they commented on my Pyromancer video, letting me know that if you're inside this fire ward and you use your flint and stone, it catches it on fire, causing anything that enters inside of it to take damage over time that is fire damage. And I love it. It is really awesome that you can do that. Now, the way that you're going to be using this build is you're going to be stacking up all three of these sigils in one spot. And another thing that I like to do while the sigils are open is going in here and equipping the lexicon. Now, with the lexicon on, you can put up your blue and purple, I believe it is, to get some more added resistances. I think it's blue purple or purple blue. Yes, you get your added resistances, plus you can do red and green or green red. I can't remember which one it is. Red green, and pop down a trap. Now, with that trap down in front of you, all you have to do is, when you're prepping for battle, pop down all of your wards. Get all three of them out. If we can get them out here, they don't want to cast. It takes a long animation, but the prep time is long, but the damage is amazing. And then make sure you have your boons on, depending on what elements you're going to be wanting to use and what skills. Make sure you have your discipline boon on so you can use your chakram skills whenever you leave your circle or need to leave your circle. But I'm not going to be using those right now. And then make sure you have a varnish on, so that you can use your discharge from the spell sword tree, which is awesome. The elemental discharge works with any element that is on your current weapon, and I love it. While you're inside here, just pop all your skills. You can have a bunch of different explosions going on. You can have your fire circle popped up. It's just really awesome. And there's like, okay, your spark does 2 attacks, one that's an AoE around you, one that shoots around or in front of you. Your Q does 2 attacks straight ahead, which is ice and lightning. And then your mana ward does the fire, catches you on fire, and also causes the ice explosion, which is completely amazing. And it's a lot of damage centralized around this one area and in front of you. Plus, you can use the extra ward abilities to do some extra stuff if you want to. Now, whenever you're outside of your circle, if you get rushed outside of your circle, you can pop your discipline boon, get that up and running, and use your chakram skills, and you can have a varnish on your weapon of any element that you choose, and then run around and use your the correct ability and shoot that element off your weapon at any time you want to. Just continuously just shoot any element that you want to. And I love this build. It does some amazing damage. I'm glad to finally have a mage build that does some great damage and stuff like that, and be able to use the chakrams. And it's actually really good. I love the chakrams. They're pretty cool. They're one of my favorite things since I started this game. But I just haven't been able to find a build that actually utilized it enough, because the damage, unless you're doing that skill right there, it was just underwhelming. But now we have a build that can do that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, drop a like on the video. We're going to jump into a montage here, so make sure that you guys stay tuned. That being said, I'm out, guys. I love your faces, and may the dubstep penguin be with you. Peace out, guys.